foot comes forward, then your hand comes in, the strike, weight goes forward, breathe out when you hit. Right. So when you end, toe should be pointed straight to the target. At the end of it, the knee should be over the toe. Right. Okay, so I screwed something up Monday. But the idea is we're both trying to escape and reestablish control in some way. You can go cross-side, you can do 2-on-1s. You know, you can go different types of grabs. You know, it can be this way, it can be this way. It doesn't really matter. But every now and then, like you're going to be, like we'll be both trying to work this and work the escapes and the controls. And at some point he's going to push. And he's going to give me a good solid push. So I know, like, let your body go with it. So if you know the techniques, don't try to do the one you want to do. Do the one he's giving it to you. So he's pushing kind of cross-eyed, so it just naturally ends up in what they got. Right? And if he pushes differently, as we're working this, like if he goes to center, it's kind of either or. You know, you can go either way. If he pushes like straight onto the side, then I might naturally go to Uriga. Right? So you keep it random. Don't get in the cadence, but I mean, as far as the drill orders go, you can go like, okay, I go 4 times, he goes 4 times, or I go, you go. So trade one. Figure it out with your partner. But try not to get into a cadence where he's kind of going for the push about the same time every time. And also not going, okay, the first time I went here, and the second time I go here, and the third time I go here. And then I go here, then here, then here, because then he'll start to read it. And I don't want to be able to read it. I want to spontaneously respond. Questions? We'll get into these. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I forgot about me, what I just said.
Kind of this thing here, maybe I've got a frame here, but I've got a hand on his wrist somehow. So a third wrist lock. So every, like Takigori is kind of included in omote, Takigori being a bend. Yeah, you can use that as like a, you got someone semi-compliant, you need them to move, then you can do the gooseneck thing and walk them. But if you've got like, you know, maybe you threw a big looping punch, you create a frame, you end up here, or somehow you're grappling, you end up here. You got a hand on his wrist. Right? Remember the head position if you're in here, or you've got a wedge with your arm. Either one. So you can do a duck under this arm, right? So you drop your level, raise him up a little bit, and get your head through. So a normal duck under, you might come back this way and get his body. Same idea. As you go for your duck under, you release a little, just enough to slide down to his hand. So your thumb hooks, like the hook of where his hand meets his wrist, and then the fingers grab the knife edge of his hand. So you drop your level, turn like to the outside, get a bend the other way, you know, opposite Takigori, and then keep this kind of high and turn towards it. Right? If you do it quick, you just break it off. So you're here, head position, you decide to do a duck under, boom, let it slide, but you don't release and then try to re-grab. Just slide it down. You're here, you're only sliding like a couple inches. Then turn, use both hands if you need to. And like you turn like you're gonna point it to the center line. He moves or he breaks. I don't really actually know what this one's called, but the key points is if you let it get bent this way, it becomes something else which you can recover with on gyaku. It's like the opposite of home. But I want it high, I want his elbow up high as a good indicator. And his hand vertical. And then turn toward him. Okay, so try that. Okay. Like what Duncan was talking about when he was here, like stacking techniques. So if you lose one, you still have the other, right? So actually get yourself through first. That way he's got less of a chance to grab onto you. And then you can move in. And it should be fucking awful. Okay, there's a sweet spot where it stays. And this is about where it is. Because he's kind of on his toes and trying to adjust. If I go towards him, a lot of that pressure is gone, like he's already getting offensive now. If I go too far away from him, I've still got almost something, but not really. He's not in anywhere near pain. He's trying to, I can tell he's looking for an opportunity. He's about to pull his hand out. Right? So there's a sweet spot where you have to keep it no matter how he adjusts. Right? Because otherwise you'll lose it. So you have to know, you have to kind of understand that there's a point, a sweet spot where it's bad. So maybe you cause some pain or damage when you drop this down and hold him this way. But for the lock itself, if someone was attacking from behind, or I saw them, okay, move them into them. Right? This is another way, like you can hold him in pain while you scan the room. But like, you have to understand it requires like, well, maybe this is also a form of mutadori. Because you're holding him in such a way that he can't be violent necessarily. As long as but you have to have enough control to not let it slip out of that sweet spot. But also if you have to have enough control to not go so fast that you just break it. Because then you don't have it anymore. Yeah, that's damage, but you don't have the control anymore. So it kind of depends on what you need to do. Do I need to break it? Maybe there's a knife in that hand or something, and then break that hand, break that wrist, so you can't do as much with it. So anyway, keep trying. The bad habit of ducking your head. Don't be lazy. Drop your level. I'm really not raising his hand up very much. I'm not doing like that, because he will definitely detect that. He'll feel it. Right? As soon as I do this, he's going to do something. It's too obvious emotion. Whereas if we're in here, and I decide to go, it's not a lot. Right? So keep your head up, drop your level. When you start to go, drop yourself under him more than you are raising his arm. Right? Because if I miscalculate this, or my grip slipped because he was sweaty, and now he's got a choke on me. Whereas if I keep my head up and that happens, go ahead, choke. It's much harder for him to catch it. And I still get his back. So you get the possibility of one or the other. If one fails, the other one's ready. Okay, keep on. Gyaku is more like well, in the most basic sense, you just gooseneck the wrist, right? So maybe it might come up where it'll be like a bouncer's technique, maybe, like you said. Hey man, because you do this, people will just naturally will shake your hand. And say, look, you're being kind of a dick. You sneak into this and let's go outside and have a conversation, kind of thing. I've seen it applied that way. Cops will use it when they're cuffing someone, but it takes a lot of effort and it typically doesn't give you a lot of control over his body. If I just bend his wrist and try to apply it, all he's got to do is move around and he gets out of it. Right? So that's why you'd always, typically you would base it with something so that it can't get away so easily. So you base it like with the back hand of your other arm or something. Best time that I usually sit is a control on the ground. So if you've got like Kime Waza, you tune down, you roll him up, and you've got the elbow, but then you apply it to help make it a little more painful. Like that's what the one thing I'm talking about is Takiori plus omote gyaku plus the knee on the arm, which is pretty bad in itself. So I usually don't find much use for this in a basic sense. So one thing that's nice to know is if you do have a Takiori on, and try and see where it is, and then take the fingers and bend it the same direction, and it's much worse. Because you got to think about the tendons and the muscles that are in here. You've already stretched them out as much as they can be, which they connect all the way to the fingers. So you got them maxed out, and let's just max them out a little bit more. And like it takes nothing. So if you want to experience that, partner up. Like he's got a lapel grab. If his wrist is straight, like I can't really move in. If I can get a bend in it, so same thing. Good grip, I'll bend it. So if I'm here, I can't bend, I can't get in. If I collapse this a little bit, and then I can start, and he's doing it to get away, but it's not because his arm has any strength left. Right? So if you think of it as a concept of, okay, when he's in alignment, he's strong, right? If I can break his alignment, he becomes weak, right? Yeah, especially if I do this. So, that's where, like, if he punches, I'm coming on this line, it's strong. If I can, like, move that out of the way just a little bit, now you come in and break it, right? So, that's where you punt. Think of Takiori is really, you've got to break their alignment in different ways so that they're not solid anymore, right? Because then it's easy, like, to, what am I trying to say? It destroys their strength. So that's why, like, you always want to be in alignment and then take the opponent out of alignment. That's really kind of the essence of the Takiori, I think. It wouldn't be a rope, it'd be a chain. And the chain, because the rope doesn't hide nearly as well as the chain, because it can't compress like a chain. The weights would actually be a bit smaller than this, but safe training purpose. Because that also affects like how you would deploy it and also how you would sheath it. Like one teacher would talk about sheathing it. So you have it and it all be concealed. And then you just turn the weight in your hand. And then doing it from like here, you're going it this way, doing it this way, up and down, getting familiar with it. And also it'd be kind of blackened, so if the lighting was not so good, or if you had darker clothing, it might be a little bit harder to see. So in Gobo lines, like you also like conceal it with your other hand, or you may even prep it by getting a weight ready to go into the other hand, right? And A.C.T, it's kind of the same idea of hiding it, but it's more hands are to the side. The other variation is of A.C.T is like they actually have it ready, but it's kind of hidden, so you have to be careful about how you have to be really careful about hiding things, because you don't want to make it obvious that you're hiding something. Like, people can tell when you're hiding something, right? Like a lot of times I think people teach stuff and so they can't see it. It's like everybody in the room knows you have it, right? You can't just like think just because they can't see the weapon, they can't see that you have a weapon. Like, people aren't that stupid. Especially if they're skillful. Like, and you have to train as if your opponent is skillful. So, anyway. So, we have to fake it with the rope. So, Kasumi, say, punches, or maybe we're here. You might even be like in some kind of holding off position. So punch, yeah. So here, and then thrust into the eyes. So not actually in class because it's dangerous, but so and you toss that. It's a metal weight that's going to hit him in the eye. It's going to have an effect, right? So let's just get it to that point. To practice, trust your partner. Slowly. So you come up. Your hand starts to come up because he may punch again. You're not sure. But for just the basic of throwing this, throw it off to the side. Right. Okay. If you're here, there's no reason to throw it. Right. It's better just like punching with it. So this is important. So you're out a bit where I can't really reach him with just my fist. So I don't put myself close to the next weapon. Let's throw it him in the face. Now, there's a trick of timing that's difficult to catch because you don't know if he's going to throw a second punch or not. Like, slowly. Let's say he threw one and then threw two. He may still have enough momentum to hit it. I mean, yeah, it's going to hurt, but his body weight will still carry him through. Like, he's probably not just going to... You might get lucky and get a flinch out of it. And maybe that'll take care of it. But you have to kind of feel if he's going to punch a second time or not. He is, so you take a step back and then hit it. So here, I use a normal train speed. And hit it that way. Even if you don't hit him, like he kind of flinched there. It's not like his thoughts gonna hit him in the face, I guess. But let's say I go, like he's still punching and I'm throwing it over, right? So I'm still catching. But even if he like throws his hand up to block it, like he's open, so you counter that way. So now he knows he's coming. Well, see him in the nuts. So it's target. So or carry this out of the way and then hit it. Okay, try that. One, open up. So to test, for throwing, if you're throwing it well, is aim in the body with it. You should get a little bit of a pop. Hold it, stay there for a second. And it'd be worse with the metal. But this way. You have to be careful about how you release it. If you it'll amount to nothing. Like even if it was metal, it wouldn't hurt. Like even if I threw it at his face and it was metal, it really wouldn't hurt him unless it actually got in his eye. So close your eyes. If I did something like that, it'd just annoy him. It wouldn't be as strong as a punch. Right? And the point of having a weapon is to multiply your force, to make it more powerful. If weapons made you weaker, no one would use it. So test it on his body. So Uke can punch a little high to make sure that when you're throwing the weapon, it's thrown well. Because that's important. Like Monday, Madison was kind of releasing it here, and gravity was taking over too soon and killing him. You have to make it whip out. You just say it. Make it whip out. Okay. Check. Like actually hit him. Then hit him again. So, or you hit him with the weight. Hit it himself, or at least scare him. And then, as you get away, thrust. Kasumi. Kasumi means like mist or haze. So it implies that you're attacking the eyes. Because in haze you can't see things very well. So check. When you're hitting cue shot. Don't worry about it. It's just a rope to hit in. Okay, sorry. You can hit this and then fake this. It's nothing. Like, and he realizes it's fake, he definitely will attack again, probably. So, check, hit it. Like, you need to cause damage. So imagine a weight, like a metal corner hitting you in the face, bam. Then as you gyaku your way, like, this withdraws, like even if you were to attack again, you hit in the eyes. So if you don't have the distance, like a hand in the face, like you have to know that you don't have the distance. Then just go out and throw it. Right. So like you should never you should always know that you can hit. You should never fake a hit that you don't actually have. Right? It's like pressing, pulling a knife that you're not actually carrying a knife on. You know, like training partner, long time would always like pull out his imaginary knife and stab it for 5 seconds. Like, well, it doesn't matter because you don't actually have a knife. If you want to get good at that, have the blade, a practice knife, pull a practice knife and do it. Otherwise, you're building a rep that won't matter. Like you'll find yourself doing it and thinking it's like has finality to it because you always visualize in your mind that it was a knife and you're stabbing. But then in reality, you're just barely hitting the guy. Like you're hitting in a way that doesn't even matter. Right? And if you're just going to hit the guy, then why do this extra motion? Like this is just a telegraph at that point, unless you're actually pulling a knife. Make sense? So you should always practice to actually hit them and not like warp your distance. So this is, I think, like one of the reasons it's important to train with weapons because it tells you where your taijutsu is weak. Like, so if you're hitting and you're like faking the hit, it's because suddenly you have this in your hand and you can't move with taijutsu anymore. Like it suddenly breaks your brain. And so that's why the base is always taijutsu and the weapon is kind of added on. Like the characteristics of the weapon matter. But with Kikuchibuki, like hidden weapons, especially taijutsu matters the most. Because as soon as he knows you have a weapon, like it loses half of its effectiveness because he knows you have it. The big advantage is him not knowing you have it. But as soon as like he knows, it changes everything. Like it's a big thing when people get stabbed. Like a lot of people don't realize they're stabbed until afterwards. They think they got hit a lot. They don't realize it's a knife. If they like realize it, like, and so they keep fighting sometimes, and they stay in the danger. If they realize it was a knife, their tactics would change probably drastically. Because they realize, oh, this is a lot more dangerous than I thought it was. So, like, within taijutsu, you should always assume they have a weapon. So, that way you're, like, even when you're practicing unarmed, you have to think, is there a weapon involved? So you're always monitoring the hands. Like, even if you're doing, like, punch stuff, the idea is he's got a weapon in the hand that I'm controlling. Like, if we were, like what we did earlier when we were doing the wrist lock, if I was in here, and I thought he had a knife in the other hand, I would go to this one. Like, change it. Because that hand is more dangerous now. The controlling hand is not so dangerous. So, like, Craig Douglas had a principle I thought was pretty wise. He said, like, for ground fighting, if you're on the bottom, and it's a weapons-based environment, monitor the hand that's not controlling you. Like, monitor the hand that's free and not holding on to you. The one that's holding on to you is holding on to you. The one that's free, that's the one that might go for a weapon. If nothing else, that's the one that's going to hit you and punch you. So anyway, yeah, practice it in such a way that you know you can hit them. then you'll go to piano. Okay. Check. Hit. Hit. You'll go to hit. Then withdraw it, like take your hand near your hand to withdraw it. And then hit. So be very mindful of who's around you. Maybe like the Greeks line, like pose this way, 3 lines. But check, hit, hit. You'll go to collect it. And then hit. Thrust it. You collect it. When you collect it, like collect it straight. Because then you have the option of going vertical or horizontal. So you've got it kind of like, you want to avoid the temptation of like collecting it behind you. Because this kind of limits what you can do. Like you can go vertical, but you have to come back here anyway, right? Or like if something were to happen, one arm is already behind you, rather than one arm who's just about ready to be in play, right? So, like a few years ago, Jay was talking about polishing your budo, and it's things like that. I think what he means, like these small things, like the difference between collecting it here or collecting it here. Those type of things, very small things, are polishing your budo. So, or at least polishing your technique. Because like the metaphor is like a sword pot. Like if someone brought us a sword and we looked at it, we think, oh, that's a very nice sword. But you gave it to like a master swordsmith or a forger, like he would see all kinds of blemishes and imperfections in it. Where we might look at it and just think it's very good. And he's like, no, this is not so good. Because he has the eyes for it. And so like, when you polish a katana, it's like these very small stones that'll fit like on your fingertip. And so they will put that on the blade and sit there and that's how they polish the blade. So you've got this 3-foot long razor blade that you're doing it on both sides. Right? And it's like this little thing. And so that's how they polish a sword. And that's how you have to polish a budo. You don't just like take any old rag or paper towel and just, okay, it's polished. Like, because then a master would look at the sword and be like, this is no good. So you have to, you have to try to do this yourself. Like that's part of it. Like that process of, like you train yourself almost. And that process of going through that's what makes you like good. Like, if you just wait for a teacher to tell you what you're doing, like you'll never go very far. You have to stalk yourself. Like you have to be kind of your own worst critic. Because like you get to observe your training 24/7, right? So you have to kind of do your part to better your budo also. Like I've heard the saying, like a martial arts teacher shows you one corner of a square and it's your job to find the other 3. Right? So maybe like on this one corner, it might be like, oh, polish it like this. Okay, now you do the rest. Yeah. So maybe it's, maybe you might call it the Miyagi method. Sanda floor. Do it this way. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, do the whole thing. It's just really like, that's the only way you can possibly get good. Right? You can get a little bit down the path, but not the whole way. Right? So like a teacher can show you, okay, you wax on, wax off like this. Now you do all the cars in the line. Because, you know, even on a practical sense, it's the repetition. You have to do your homework. Like, so I was hanging out with Wes Friday, and we were at this place. He's gone back in his bedroom, grab his shoes or something. And so, like, I've got nothing to do, kind of just waiting on him. And without me even almost realizing it, I'm already practicing punches on his walls. I'm not slamming his walls, of course. I'm just checking my angles. Am I hitting with the right part? And he caught me, and we had a laugh about it. But it's stuff like that's you have to do stuff like that. You have to train on your own. Like, and the training you do on your own is more important than the training you do as a dojo. So, and you have to get creative with how you do it. I've got a double end, a makeshift double end bag in my apartment. So I've got a tennis ball and I got elastic tied to a pull-up bar, and then I take a carabiner and strap it to a kettlebell so it'll stay in place and hit it, and it'll sit there and bounce back and stuff, and I'm trying to hit it, like, to improve my accuracy. It's like the headband ball, except it's freestanding. So you should find creative ways to train, like to train your budo, but like also like to stay in shape, which is kind of laughable coming from me. Because I'm in terrible shape at the moment. And basically that's because I haven't been doing my homework. But if you can find a way like to do both in the same, like if you work out, can you make your workout more budo specific? Like it'll reinforce whatever you're doing. Like if you have access to a yard, you should learn how to make a makiwara. Like I can't do it in my apartment. Or if I did, I'd get kicked out probably because it'd make a ton of noise. But that'd be good. Or to get access to a heavy bag or something. And do that as part of your workout every day. It'll definitely make you breathe harder, do some exercise. And you like plot out like a program for yourself. Like when I first started throwing Bujinkan, my workout plan for Bujinkan was 100 throws a day. And so I did that 100 throws a day for about 3 months straight. And I'm out of practice now, but at the time I was getting pretty good at it. Just doing it every day. Like get home from work, put my bag down before I did anything else, 100 throws, and then stop, period. No matter if I was doing really well or if I was doing poorly, I just stop. Like if you were throwing Bujinkan, for example, and it's really like you're getting to where you're just really sucking at it, you should just stop for the day. Until like eventually it'll get to where you're hitting like almost 100%. And the 100 throws a day, that was only basics. That was the basic throw. No moving around, no changing distance, no flipping it over, no 2 or 3 at a time. The absolute basic. 100 times a day over 3 months is almost 1,000 throws. Is that right?
100 a day?
No, that's 100 a day times 30 is 30,000. So times 3 is 9,000? 90,000. So 90,000 throws. Yeah. It's 90,000 throws. I can't do that in my head.
100 times 30.
It'd be 9,000, 9,000. So 9,000 throws. 90 days times 100 is 9,000. Trust me. 100 times 10 is 1,000. 100 times 90 is no. It's 1,000. 3,000 a month. So 9,000 throws. And I have to go back and cut this whole. I just keep this part in the video. I may clip this as a single video. So 9,000 throws in 3 months.
None of us here went to college.
So, anyway. That was the deal. And that way, I had 10, and so I did 10 sets of 10 throws, and that way I could track my percentage to see how I was doing. So if I like missed 3, then okay, I got 70% or something like that. Because then you can actually track whether you're improving or not. So, like if you set up a pole and did throwing loops, and then track your percentage of 10 loops or 100 loops a day, and then track your percentage if you wanted to. So anyway, I got off. So like used to, when I was living at my dad's house, I'd go outside and I'd train and practice brook shark bow against trees, go in the woods with a bow can and hit trees and practice, and that would keep you in decent health. And then I got a job, got a desk job, and I moved into the city, and well, not so much anymore. At least not like getting the police called on me. Anyway.